Hey lovelies, this is Lisa, and this is the view from my bedroom over into my shrine room. And I wanted to do a kind of video response to Simon's really just delightful video behind the camera. I've often um, I've often thought how fun it would be to do a kind of tag where we sort of play with the vice versa tarot, and the way that deck shows us the behind of our favorite pixie images. Um, Kind of a novelty deck, but sort of a brilliant novelty deck. And here, we're so used to seeing our YouTube friends from one angle that to get the sort of behind the scenes is so delicious and delightful. And also, if you're me and you're kind of a technologically just a little bit behind in technology, trying to figure out how to do a setup that works with my MacBook Pro is just, it's old and it's cranky and crusty. And so usually what I do is I have my iPad propped up in one way or another here on this chest near my Gaia. And I'll often use as lighting, I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I own a happy light. And my happy light will often provide a little bit of extra daylight to make the filming, just feel a little bit more true to actual colors. So I'll often film here. And recently I just got a new iPhone, and so I also have tried to film with my iPhone, and I sort of use a selfie stick and kind of jam it in that drawer. I have to come up with some better systems. I have an arm that I attach my iPad to, but it just doesn't quite work. Anyway, this is my shrine room and my main altar, which is my Buddha altar. And just so you have a sense, so these zabuton, these square cushions, I teach meditation, and storage is always at a premium. So here's where I'm storing my zabuton for now, and I store my round meditation cushions up over our garage. So it's a little cluttered right now. And Pacific Northwest, it's still cold enough here on certain days that I need my little space heater. So here is my main altar, and right by it is the main place that I meditate. This quilt was given to me by one of my mindfulness students. It's just lovely. And then these are vestments from my Buddhism. So they look like bibs. They're called raksu, and they're kind of an abbreviated form of a monk's robe. And there's my round meditation cushion. So I sit facing this wall. This is a window. You can see it's a beautiful day. And here's my main altar. So the pictures in the back are of my parents, who are both deceased. My selenite globe, a candle, some incense. I'm too lazy to change out my flowers, so these are fake. And then just some various, these are some of my mother's ashes, so I keep those here. A ring that was my grandmother's. This was actually her engagement ring, and she brought it with her from Nazi Germany, where the family fled from in the 30s. This, I think it's Danish, maybe Swedish, this crystal horse. Someone gave it to my mom, and when she passed, I really liked it, and I put it on the altar. And those are some my Zen teacher gave me, some sutra books, some scripture books. So those are all the things that are wrapped here. A little aventurine heart. These little pebbles, which are made of some kind of metal, all have words on them. Patience. My husband gave these to me when we got married. And then a water offering to the Buddha. This is actually Amida Buddha, the Buddha typically related to Pure Land Buddhism and to faith. When I was gifted this Buddha. A friend of mine gave it to me, and I didn't really know the difference in the different hand gestures, but that hand gesture, that posture means Amida Buddha, as opposed to Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha who woke up under the Bodhi tree 2,500 years ago, and then a little heart-shaped stone from, I think from the coast, from the Oregon coast. This is from a meditation retreat I was at recently. And then it's a little random what decks are on this altar, and it changes. But right now, for some reason, it's Bridget Esselent's deck, which I still really love, the Everyday Tarot, the Marshmallow Tarot, and the Maria de Celia. And then there's in that beautiful cherry wood box under the altar are various things related to Buddhism, related like family things. I actually have a passport that my mother and her sister and her mother used to get out of Nazi Germany. So it's their Reichpass. This is my tarot altar. So it's quite crowded, but I love it. This is an extra card in my my new version of the Trionfi della Luna. So this is from the first deck, but I just got the paradoxical deck because I didn't really like the coloring in the first deck. So it came with the Seven of Wands, which is a really important card for me. And then the various decks that I have on this altar. So one of my first editions of the Wild Unknown. Yes, I have more than one of them. That's how crazy I am. The Aquarian Tarot, Morgan Greer, and Albano Waite. Tarot of the She, which I never read with anymore, but for some reason that deck just made it to this altar about 2 years ago, and it's never left. And then this is a vintage Rider-Waite in a really cool box that I got off of eBay. Someone carved it in the box. It slides, and it just really precisely holds this deck. This is a very nice, and oh, look there, the King of Swords. A very nice, well-worn 1971 pre-copyright version of that deck. And then some various, I love this smoky quartz, a Greek, I think this is carnelian, set of Greek worry beads. I need to fill the altar. This is for water, little rose quartz. A friend of mine just gave me this little set of charms. I made that spell packet at Northwest Tarot Symposium. Some argonite. Argonite? Is that what this is called? I can't remember now. I can't remember. This is just a very common Oregon stone, but it's really beautiful, and a fossilized snail. Some crystal. Oh, and the Raven's Prophecy. So different crystals. I really like this garnet, this raw garnet. And then this is an image of Prajnaparamita, the mother of all Buddhas. It's the perfection of wisdom. So it's a female, what do I want to say? A female image. She's an archetype, and it's like not exactly a bodhisattva. I mean, she's the mother of all Buddhas. This is wisdom, like Sophia. And then this is called No Fuda. It's like a prayer tablet to Prajna. And then this very old Kuan Yin. Oops. I'm tearing apart my altar. She's a little broken. But it's that kind of beauty of something that's broken that's nonetheless holding together, just like our life. And then I have a couple of other altars. So another Kuan Yin altar. And I'm not sure how old this Kuan Yin image is. My husband got it for me at a sort of antiques fair where he was selling books. And yeah, she's just beautiful. So, is it silver? It can't possibly be silver. It wasn't expensive enough to be silver. It's very heavy. Very beautiful. And then another Kuan Yin, which belonged to my mother's father, who traveled to Japan a whole bunch. So this is my Kuan Yin altar, although it does have Jizo Bodhisattva, who's the protector of children, women in childbirth, travelers. She's a really beautiful figure, a bodhisattva of vows. And there's a monastery here in Clatskanie, Oregon called Great Vow Monastery, and Jizo Bodhisattva is really central to the teacher there. So that image is from Great Vow. And then a friend of mine gave me those cards. A friend of ours gave us this beautiful prayer, greeting and thanks to each other as people, to the earth, mother of all, greetings and thanks to all waters, waterfalls and rain. It's really I think from a Idaho tribal community. And then here is another Buddha altar. This is a fake antique from Thailand. You know, purported to be centuries old, but we actually think it was probably made, you know, a couple years ago and aged. But I really like him. And he is holding a Herkimer quartz. And then here is my Black Tara, who I also really love. And my tarot. So in this cabinet are historical decks of various kinds in boxes and bags. And then in this cabinet are some backup decks and some unopened decks. Like I have an unopened Robert Place Vampire Tarot and my extra Stella Tarot. So some decks that I've just, you know, the craziness of backup decks, right? Now here in this box, which I got off of Craigslist, it's from Japan. It's wood with what do you call it? With a little fabric or maybe even leather that's been painted on. It's quite old and not in great shape, but I thought it was really cool. So in this, I have decks that are, these are like the decks that I just, you know, my go-tos, or my most commonly used, the decks that come in and out of rotation, as are these. And then the decks that are out are all ones that I'm actively working with right now, including the Albano weights that I'm going to be doing a comparison video of. And then I just got another copy of the Tarot of Reflection, so I'm going to do a comparison video there too. I still haven't dived into the Dark Mansion Tarot or the Intuitive Tarot, both of which I'm kind of saving because I want to explore them first in a first impressions video and then really get into them. And then there's some decks in here that are waiting. My Guardian Tarot, my Prisma Visions, and then the Astra Tarot, which these were all decks that I got. Either I bought at Northwest Tarot Symposium or I got on the potlatch table. So that's more to come. Okay. What do I want to say? I think that's it. Oh yeah. And then there's this. So, you know, there isn't really a method to this madness. These are decks that I don't have in bags. I have in boxes, and they're decks that I'm actively always thinking about. Okay, I accidentally cut myself off in that video because I'm still getting used to all the buttons on my iPhone. But we've got the Animal Spirit Oracle deck, which I actually never use. I have to own it. I had to buy it. I mean, how could I not? But I'm not an Oracle deck person, so I love it, but I don't play with it. Moonchild Tarot, Naked Heart Tarot, of course, first and second edition of The Wild Unknown, under a fluorite wand, Susrobito, Brady, the Arcana Playing Card Tarot, in white, Orbifold, the Golden Tarot, but the first edition that came with matte rather than glossy cards, and then a really undersung. It got a lot of attention when it first came out, but people don't talk about it that much. The Golden Thread Tarot, which also has a really great app by Tina Gong, the designer. Oh, and so also Sacred Rose Tarot deck. Recent acquisition. There will be a video at some point. Okay, guys, that's behind the scene at Lisa's lair. That's the cushion that I sit on when I'm filming. So, you know, it's all, this is me. So I'm kneeling. I'm typically kneeling when I'm here or sitting. So there you go. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. I thought I was done, but I forgot. I have these two chests, and you may be wondering what's inside them. So in this chest, which is beautiful, it was my mother-in-law's, and when she moved, she didn't want it anymore, and so somehow I was lucky enough to get it. So I won't open that, but in that there's, you know, things like some boxes from decks that I put into bags. There's a couple of tarot decks that I haven't opened yet and haven't explored, and they're sort of in waiting, like the Arthurian Tarot and the Ship of Fools Tarot. So there's things like that. There's some reading cloths, things like that. So odds and ends. And in this cabinet, I'm going to pause now because I need two hands to lift things up. Oh, and my Hieronymus Bosch. This is a beautiful book. I don't own the Bosch Tarot, only because I haven't bought it yet. There's a bunch of tarot decks like the full-size version of the Klimt Tarot, the Bosch Tarot, which absolutely fabulous Los Scarabeo decks, and I just haven't bought them because, not because they're too expensive or I couldn't buy them, but because I want to have some decks that I can still buy in the future. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll pause and then open this. So this is where a lot of my tarot collection is. And it's labeled so I can find things. Some of these are decks that I don't work with. Like my husband gave me the Kama Sutra deck, and I just don't work with it. But that was wonderful that he gave it to me. Some of these are decks that I don't work with a lot. Like I don't work a lot with the Tarot of Delphi, although I think I think it's an amazing deck. The Touchstone Tarot, similarly, I don't work with it a lot, but I love it. And then some of these are boxes that contain my vintage decks, like my Albano Waite, my Aquarian Tarot, my Morgan Greer Tarot Classic, my Rider Waite decks. So there's 2 layers here. It doesn't go down forever, but it's not like a Mary Poppins bag that you just keep reaching in and get more and more tarot decks. But there's a lot of decks in here, and yeah. So, it's when I see people who have their decks like beautifully displayed in the boxes on shelves, I really admire that. But it's not how I've been storing my decks. But I do then have, my decks in their bags that I work with a lot that are out. So there you go, folks. It's a little bit overwhelming when I show it. I realize, yeah, I have a whole bunch of decks. But, this is my love. This is my world. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone.